Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're having a look at another devblog for updates Winged Lions, and this is for some new locations. They're bringing in Israel, which is going to be an aviation map, and also returning Volokolamsk, which of course is a ground map. Now, another thing to mention is the dev server is open today, so if you want to have a look around it, make sure to do so. I'll try and get some footage of the maps so we can see what they're about. We'll see the changes in Volokolamsk and all of that good stuff. And some people may be saying I'm being hyperbolic here, but the return of the Antichrist has come to War Thunder once again, and it is Volokolamsk. Now, Volokolamsk, I actually really enjoyed its smaller maps. I thought generally they had problems because of the snow. It basically meant that you could shoot people without them being able to see you, or without even peeking, because you can shoot through the snow, which is something you can still do in War Thunder. If you've ever played the center of the Finland map, you'll know this pretty effectively, but it's normally, it's normally not too bad. On Volokolamsk, it's really bad because the area is hilly, and also at the same time, jiggle peeking is a huge thing on the map itself. Now, the problem with Volokolamsk and why it was banned so much when the map rotation filter came out, just remember, this map right here, Volokolamsk, was removed from the game because it was banned so much in the map rotation filter that it would have hardly ever seen actual play. That's why it was gone. It was that universally hated as a map, for many reasons, not just the ones that they list here, which is why I'm worried that this thing is going to come back with a vengeance and be banned once again. I already don't see a lot of the larger maps. I doubt I'll see this one anyway, just because of the like and dislike system. So, when it comes to Volokolamsk, which, as I said, we'll have a look around later, they've said, the Gaijin location design team did a great job with this new updated map. We'll see. That's very subjective. We fixed the terrain in places where it negatively affected gameplay and altered the position of many trees and forests. The infamous hill near the chapel, from where a skillful squad was able to control a huge sector of the map, has now become lower and is no longer such a powerful position. We've also brought the map up to the quality standards of modern War Thunder locations. We reworked the snow and roads, added new objects in settlements with smaller vegetation in the fields and hills. So, let's talk about the problems with Volokolamsk, which aren't actually talked about here. The northern hill is a slight issue with the game, but not really. The main issue with Volokolamsk is there's a bunch of forests which are around Volokolamsk, but if you are on lower graphics settings or if you have thermals, you can see through them. So the idea of cover in those areas does not exist. And because of this, you can just be sauntering along, minding your own business, and then you just get shot through a bunch of cover because of how the render distances work in the game and because of the general size of the map in the game. Now, I actually enjoyed Volokolamsk in certain areas. I was able to find some pretty good routes which would work pretty well and generally do alright. But if you wanted to fight in the center of the map, it was literally impossible to do because in order to get to the center of the map, you had to go through forests. And if the enemy team can see through those forests, then you have no natural cover because there was no hills and there was nothing. The terrain deformation didn't exist. So this just meant that you died as you went along. And because one side, the left side spawn, had access to hills and the right side spawn did not, you just died. And then the capture points are in the center of the map, in areas where there's quite a decent amount of houses and quite a decent amount of churches, but are completely open to these elevated areas. That's why Volokolamsk was crap. Those areas there, and none of them will have been fixed here. None of them at all. Hopefully, they can do something about the render stuff, otherwise people are just going to use thermals, or they're going to use ULQ, and they're going to see people through everywhere. Another problem is the map is so big, and it has so many different sight lines. One of the problems that you're getting, not just on this map, but also Red Desert is doing this quite a lot right now. Whoever wins an initial battle in any of the areas in the map, so let's say the center, because normally the center isn't that contested. You can take the center if you are lucky and the enemy decides to not go there, or if you win the initial battle against the enemy there, and you can find power positions which are really easy to find and look over both spawns, so you can just lock the spawns in around about 5 minutes. So anybody who decides to respawn will have to deal with you before even moving to anywhere else. And if you lose 2 battles on the map, so let's say the left side and the center side, then you just lose. And this is the problem with larger maps in general. The second spawn really has a horrific position. It really has a horrific position in being able to try and get the map back. Because if you have, from no fault of your own, if you have, let's say, won your battle in your sector and then another sector loses, then you die, then you respawn and you realize that another sector is completely crumbled and people are just staring at your spawn from miles away, so they're not, showing up on the map and they have laser rangefinders now, then there is no use in you spawning, but you don't know whether that's going to happen, so you drive for 5 seconds and then you die. It's just how it goes. And when it came to the Volokolamsk spawns, they were incredibly open, ridiculously open compared to what they needed to be. So the second spawn on Volokolamsk did not exist. Or, if it did exist, you went in a plane. Because going in a ground force just meant that you were going to die. You were going to drive for 5 minutes and die. Just like Red Desert. Because it's impossible to check all of the corners and the crannies of all of the map while you are pushing forward to try and get back those cap points. I'm really, really annoyed to see this map back. It was absolutely terrible. I have no faith in this map being good. And at the same time, the biggest issue? Because the whole map is white, because it is all covered in snow, that means that you are slower going around it, unless you take the roads, and at the same time, it hurts my eyes. So it's not just that, it's not just that it's hard to traverse. It's not just that a lot of the natural cover doesn't exist. It also, at the same time, hurts my damn eyes to play it because of all the white that is on the screen. Fantastic. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Professor X 1718, Orange Tail, Sakoshi Tiger, BRFC 15, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe A, Eugens Terry, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, and then Kyle Kin, Bareen, Lafouche, and also Samuel Slick for supporting the channel.